finish this.
Well then, let's do this. Did somebody call my name? Hey Rangers, welcome to Super Important Reviews. My name's Steve, and today we'll be going over the Godzilla 1989 Deluxe Plush from Toynami with Authentic Roar. We will come back to that one, folks. But this is a stuffed animal to commemorate the film Godzilla vs. Violente, which came out in 1989. Which, funny note, there's only 1,989 of these stuffed animals in circulation as of right now, to keep the production run low to make this guy a little bit more of a collectible, and also that's the year the film came out, so hey. And this is actually one of my wife's purchases, because one, she's really obsessed with stuffed animals, and two, Godzilla vs. Violente is pretty much both our favorite films, so this guy seemed like he would work great into our collection. But the only thing that's really hindering him initially when we order him is that the standard retail price for this guy is around $100. It seems pretty crazy for a stuffed animal. But we will find out with this review if it's actually worth it. So without further ado, for the packaging, kind of looks like a NECA figure, doesn't it? Where you got the Bandai 1954 right there on the tag, and also your standard display that we see on a lot of the front packaging cards for NECA figures, where you have the Godzilla Deluxe Plush with the Bernie background. Also, don't think there's a whole lot really going on the side. Back, you got some Lego Mumbo Jumbos. Other side, not a whole lot going on. Underneath, more cardboard. And on his little card, again, got the 54 on the front. On the back, some battery information. Please don't throw them out. On the inside, just tells you the year, some barcodes, and how you get access to his sound box on the inside. So, let's get this guy off of his pedestal. Alright, so this is going to be a little bit different of a review for me, mainly because never actually reviewed a stuffed animal before, since I don't usually purchase them. But we're going to do it anyways, which, for the head sculpt, looks freaking adorable. So overall, this thing actually looks fairly cute with its overall furry aesthetics here, with the skin texture here being actually a little bit more fuzzy than what I'm generally accustomed to with these Godzilla stuffed animals. And for his head sculpt, very terrifying looking in a very cute way, where you have his eyes right here where it actually has a little bit of details there for the iris, which is actually really cool. And a nice little added touch to this stuffed animal. Overall, looks very Godzilla-esque, but also in a very chibi way. I can kind of see the resemblance to the 1989 suit. Like, he overall has a very Heisei appearance to him, so it pretty much just being a Heisei Godzilla is gonna work in stuffed animal form. His mouth looks pretty cool overall. He has these little jagged teeth right here. Got his little Godzilla tongue and some pink fabric and some more blood red fabric for the interlacings of the mouth. Looks really nice. And one thing that's actually kind of neat with this is for the fans here, they're actually made out of a harder material so that they actually have a little bit of thickness to them. So they kind of bend right back into place when they get shifted around, which is pretty cool. Same with the dorsal spines here. They actually got a little bit of a spike to them, which is really nice actually. Kind of gives them a little bit more of that like adult collector feel and not just mainly strictly for children, which is really nice. Which is kind of what they're gearing this towards anyways. But one thing that you're going to start noticing, especially when looking at the head, even though I do like how squishy soft he is and how pretty much cuddly he is, he looks like I've owned him for at least a few years. Like, he definitely has a little bit more of a worn appearance to him, which is something that I'm not as big of a fan of as I probably should be overall. Because initially when you buy a stuffed animal, you want it to look clean, crisp, brand new, like you're the first person to own this thing, right? Especially when you're paying $100 for it. But looking at the head sculpt here, you'll notice that some of the fabric already looks like it's starting to come away at the nose here. And he's got little sections here where the fuzz is actually going away. And I even already have some of his fuzz sitting here on my hand. Which is saying something for a little bit of the quality of the fabric here, which is has a nice feel to it, but in appearance, there's a lot of sections here, like right here, where it just looks not very clean. Like, he just looks like he has a ton of battle scars all over him, which I'm not 100% sure if that's the appearance that they were going for this guy, but it's not the best. Especially, like, here you start noticing there's a little bit of string kind of hanging off him, especially right here on his arm. Like, he has a ton of excess string on this guy, which I'm going to have to clean up with a pair of scissors. Which is not something that you should really have to deal with, especially with this thing being as praised as collectible as it's supposed to be. It should come in very clean looking, and to me, seeing a lot of this stuff, it just feels kind of rushed in my opinion. Which kind of gives it a little bit more notches Especially right here, you'll notice somewhere where the fuzz kind of just falling off of this guy. Even on his claws, he has a lot of access from his body, which isn't very clean looking. You also notice here on the lower portion of his neck where it looks like he tried a tracheotomy with a lot of the stitch work here, again giving him that more scarish appearance. But mainly with the what I'm calling the scarring, it's where you get a lot of the stitch work here is where you get a lot of the more skin tones, which is generally what's giving it scar-like appearance. Like you even notice a little bit more here on the arms. I'm not really noticing it too much on areas of just general fabric, except for mainly the nose region right here is the worst of it. And on stuffed animals, you're gonna see the seam lines, but on a lot of them, they're not quite as noticeable or a little bit more well hidden, while on him, it's just blatantly out there. All right, here you get your standard Godzilla definition with his two chests and that little added piece towards the center middle. Has his little lower section here, which again has a lot more string kind of just hanging off of him. On his legs, has his nice four-toed feet. Overall look very nice, very freaking huge. One of the things I think actually looks a little bit better on this guy anyways is the tail region here, where the stitch work actually looks really nice on the tail region here, where you don't notice a lot of that scarring appearance. And it looks freaking fantastic over on the back section, which is something that I kind of wish would have conveyed very nicely on the rest of the figure, because especially when you're seeing right here, you notice a lot of the stitch work right here and it just really stands out. While the stitch work here, it's there, but it hides very well with the overall grooves that the tail should have, which I wish they would use for the rest of the stuffed animal here, because a lot of the stitch work should be in the segmenting sections anyways, so it shouldn't really take away from the overall fabric quality, but it does on this figure, which is quite depressing. Oh, so that's what's going on. It's actually how they did the segmenting on here is they wrapped the string around the arm to give it that more elbowish appearance here, but it's not actually stitched in. As you can see, it's more overlacing over the top of the arm and just constricting it to give it that elbow joint. While on this arm right here, it's literally fallen off already. Which is actually just a huge bummer for the stuffed animal here, because he looks freaking cute, but just the overall quality just doesn't really seem to be there, in my opinion, because a lot of the stitch work's already coming undone. And to me, he just has that very rushed appearance to him. And for his articulation, can literally bend however you want him, because all he wants to do is give everyone cuddles. Next, we're going to go over this guy's authentic roar, which, how you activate it is he has a sound box inside of his chest where you just push it on his chest and... Wait a second. Moving him just a little bit so you guys can hear that better. Is that just me? Or does that sound like the 2014 roar? Because I'm pretty sure that sounds like the 2014 roar, and not the Heisei roar or the 1989 roar, which sucks. Which sucks a lot. Especially with the saying authentic roar, which yes, it is a authentic Godzilla roar, just not the right Godzilla. Which, if this thing is going to be touted as a commemorative stuffed animal for Godzilla 1989, I expect it to have the roar from that film and not just whatever sound box they found lying around, which sucks. Sucks a lot. Definitely the worst part about this stuffed animal, and something that just really isn't forgivable in my opinion. But briefly, in case you want to rip that thing out of there, all you do is open up right in between these dorsal plates here. Gives you access to the sound card, or box I should say, which I can't seem to get out. I don't feel it. Where the heck is it? Oh, feeling something. Oh god, he's going off. This looks wrong. Okay, sort of figured it out. I'm going to keep hitting that sound box. But inside of here, you actually have to open up another pocket, which that's kind of frustrating, especially when you're trying to weasel this thing out of here. But here is the sound box. You could easily remove this thing if you want to. It's not wired into him at all. It's just... Oh, that's loud. Well, in that regards, that's impressive. But if you guys are like me and fairly upset that this thing has a 2014 roar, then you can just be gone with it. And for some quick comparison, here's the Toynami Godzilla plush compared next to my Toy Vault Godzilla plush, which I still say is my favorite plush that I have. And here he is compared next to the Toy Vault Anguirus and Mothra. And here he is with some Tenchi Muyo plushes with Ryo-Oki and Kanoki.
And here is some more Toy Vault stuffed animals with a griffin and a Chinese dragon who's freaking huge. Rawr.
So over with the Godzilla 1989 plush from Toynami, I just think this thing's a fail overall, because granted, it's cute, it's cuddly, but it feels like something I should be buying more for a kid. But generally, I picked this stuff up as a collector because I wanted it to be high quality and represent the character that I'm buying this item for, which this figure doesn't do, because with the roar that's in it, it's definitely wrong for the Godzilla from that time period. The quality on this stuffed animal feels very rushed, especially with the fuzz already coming off of it, and with the rushed looking stitch job. It just really doesn't feel like any time was really spent on this stuffed animal, because it feels like something that I should just be buying from a retail store because I want to give it to a kid or because I want to sleep better at night. So in the end, I don't recommend this thing for you guys. If you guys are looking for a Godzilla plush to add to your collection, I would either wait for this thing to go on clearance if you really want this version of Godzilla, or if you're going to be spending the money anyways, might as well just pick up the Toy Vault ones. But what do you guys think? Have you guys picked up the plush 89? What's your favorite Godzilla plush, or is the Care Bears just more your thing? Please let us know in the comments. We'll have some pictures of this guy on Facebook. If you want to click the link description below. Help us defeat those kaijus by hitting that like button. Subscribe to become a Ranger today, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.